Danful offers unparalleled, curated and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danful, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danful, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danful, Africa. To learn more, visit danful.africa.
History isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments. Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Peace, family. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thanks so much for joining. Make sure you hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, y'all. It is a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Atlanta. Me and my son, we this morning went to the city of Atlanta had a fishing event at the park on the low. I forgot the name of the park. So me and my son, we went fishing this morning. Well, he did the fishing. This is the first time I've ever attempted to fish. Him as well, but he's pretty good. He didn't catch anything, but it was a beautiful day. Mayor Andre Dickens was there. So we had a good time today in Atlanta. Now we just chilling, and we're gonna have an exciting show today. But before I bring on my guests, got a couple of announcements. Announcement number one: we are rolling to Senegal next month. We are rolling to Senegal next month for the Jazz Festival, St. Louis Jazz Festival in St. Louis. See, I don't know in French if the S is silent, if it's St. Louis or St. Louis, but that's where we're going. So the first half of the trip is going to be in Dakar, and then the second half is going to be in St. Louis. So We are rolling there May 9th through the 18th. May 9th through the 18th. If you're interested in joining us, please visit donfo.africa. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO, Africa to learn more. We're also going to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. That's August 2nd to the 11th. Then we're doing Zanzibar in September. And then we're going to do Ghana, Ivory Coast in uh, Sierra Leone in November. And then Benin in January for the Oshun Festival. So if you are, excuse me, sorry. So if you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo.Africa. Please visit Danfo.Africa to learn more. And guys, we're going to be more balanced on here. Well, we already are balanced. I know we really focus a lot on current events in Africa. And sometimes the topics get a little bit heated, but we got to bring it down a little bit. We got to get back rerouted and have more elevated and more conscious conversation. So today we have a special guest on with us today. And guys, make sure you hit that like button again. Make sure you hit that like button as you come to the chat room. And everybody that donated to the plant fund. So my birthday just passed on the 15th. I'm now 44 years young. And I was like, you know what? I need some plants. So no, everybody that contributed towards the plant fund for my birthday, I appreciate you. But today's topic, African spiritual identity in modern New York, with Chief Fayinka. That it's a great topic. A lot of us live in urban centers and the concrete jungle, as they say. And how do we apply African spirituality to everyday life? Um, in these urban centers in the West. So without further ado, and guys, I'll put the link in the chat room. If you have any questions, if somebody's already in the chat room, um, and Chief Fayinka will address the question. African spirituality in New York. This has to be an oxymoron. Okay, well let's bring the chief on. Chief Fayinka, how you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I cannot complain. Thank you for coming on last minute, but I'm like, the spirit was guiding me. It was like, we got to have a last minute conversation on this Saturday. I know you are a busy man, and thank you for being up, and let's jump right into it. Yeah, introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, and you
Uh,
know
uh,
all the formalities.
um, my name is Chief Olu Ela Fayinka, Carl. Um, Located here in Brooklyn, New York. My temple is Ileo Sakaran Yoruba Cultural and Spiritual Temple
Hmm.
in the heart of Bed-Stuy here. Um, we've been here for 26 years.
No, congratulations.
Yeah, practicing our African spirituality. I originated in the lineage of the Shango Baptist, Orisha worship,
Mhm.
and since then have found my way back to Nigeria to be initiated to Ifa, and my wife to Oshun and Egbe and so forth. And then we've been from that point integrating the Ifa traditionalism with the Shango Baptist
Mhm.
lineage of Orisha worship here in Brooklyn, New York. Um, we're a non-for-profit organization here built on community outreach. So we're constantly doing different programs, to help the needy, going to women and children shelters, going to
Mhm.
elderly
Gotcha.
homes, doing programs for the men in the community on Father's Day and so forth. So we've built ourselves in trying to show our culture in the form of community outreach. To open our community up to to everything else, or not everything else, but something different than what they're accustomed to. Um, in September, we have a very big Oshun festival where we block off the block, and we
If you know what I mean, what are the dates? Do you know?
the Oshun festival this year, is the second weekend in September. If I could just pull up my calendar here. Are you there?
Okay, I'm here. I think
Um,
you changed your
yeah,
screen or you went off.
yeah. Just one minute. Just yeah, just
Okay.
to get the date. Just tell you exactly what the date is. I should have had those things on hand.
Oh, no problem.
The Oshun Festival this year will be the 13th of September, and
Mhm.
yeah, our Ifa festival would be the 5th of September.
Okay.
From what I know, right? Um, and those are just a few, but the reason why I raised the Oshun Festival is because that is a festival that we really we get, block off the block, and we bring the festival out into the streets. Um,
Mhm.
so we have a very big, but we have many other festivals. As a matter of fact, our spiritual season is about to kick off in on May 9th with our Shango Festival, and then
Oh man,
Memorial.
I'll be in New York on the 9th. Actually on the 8th. Go to Senegal on the 9th, so I might during the day might try to I could see if I could fall
Yeah,
through.
we
Yeah.
start at 12 o'clock. We have one of our great Babas that resides down in Atlanta right now, Shango Sekin. He's the one who comes up and does the performance for
Okay.
Shango.
Shango from Oshobo.
Yes,
I know
yes,
Shango. I know Shango. I know
yeah,
Shango very well. He's in Stone Mountain or city of
yes,
Stonecrest. They
yeah.
changed their name. So yeah, I know Shango very well. Okay.
Yeah, so he's the one that comes up and does the performance for Shango.
Okay.
And then Memorial Weekend we have our 2-day Egbe Festival. The first day we go to again um children, women and children shelters and so forth, and do feedings and give gifts and so forth on that day. And then on the
Mm,
Sunday we have the celebration for Egbe Orun here in the temple.
okay.
And yeah, we have a lot of festivals. So in the end of June, we have our week-long traditional festival from the Trinidad lineage. And in July, we have Umoja Festival.
Okay.
And so yeah, we do a lot of things to continue to try to build community via the culture,
Hmm.
and try to real bring our people back into alignment with what we had come from, you know. Yeah.
So African spiritual identity in modern New York. This is my first question because
Yeah.
this has been kind of a hot topic lately. Do you need to be initiated?
To practice African spirituality.
Well, whether it's Ifa, Vodun, or African spirituality, is it necessary to be initiated in modern New
Um,
York? Like, you know,
I think the necessity comes with if that is in alignment with your destiny.
okay.
Um, you know, Not everyone is called to initiation,
Mm,
but some of us are in need of initiation based on what our destiny says.
okay.
And you see, this is the whole thing about African spirituality and life in general.
Mhm,
Ernest Hemingway said something. He said, the two most important days in a person's life is when they're born and when they figure out who they were destined to be, or what they came to do,
mm,
right? And this is a direct reference to destiny, right?
mhm,
All of us have destiny. The problem with the world would be is in general is that a lot of majority of people are living on the outside of destiny,
mm,
you know. And then it brings unhappiness, it brings a lot of different things that turns things upside down,
right.
because it's on the what we had chosen in Orun, it's on that path is where our happiness and our joy, our fulfillment is going to come.
All right.
So let's just take, for instance, a person working in a corporate job and they just feel like a calling to something different, but they
That was
continue to.
me. That was me. Sorry to cut you off, Bob, but that was me in 2018 when I said I gotta go. But go ahead.
There you go. And
Right.
and then you're being drawn to something else. You're being drawn to some,
Mhm.
and the average, a lot of people would not think about just going behind their passion or
Mhm.
anything of that nature. They're going to stick with what makes them money, or more or less, right?
Right.
I speak a lot about, some of the things I've encountered via my wife, because she's had her battles with lupus and so forth. I have encountered doctors that are just doctors because that's what society says is prestigious, or that's what makes money. And I've encountered doctors that were destined to be doctors.
Mhm.
You can tell the difference. So
Right.
I'm saying all that to say that destiny plays a very big part in every individual's life, their happiness, their joy, and then the total outlook on the world. Because if we were destined to be something, we were destined to be something for more than just ourselves. And when
Mhm.
we're on the outside of that, then it shifts everything. So when coming to initiation is, I would say, is based on, if that's what was destined for you. Everyone doesn't have to be initiated. You can come to a Ifa festival or any Orisha festival and enjoy the culture,
Mhm.
enjoy what the spirituality is. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be initiated,
Mhm.
you know. So I
Okay.
believe I believe that's the question. That's the answer to the situation, or the answer to that particular question. I don't think that you have to be initiated. What I will say though is that, our people. Some people will push initiation for this reason,
Money.
because they need something to draw the people back. Well, money, that's some people. That's people with with
It's
with
fruitful. Like
with
I said.
a that may have a, whatever their issue may be. But some people will push initiation based on this, based on the fact that we as a people need are being drawn back, and we need something to really captivate people and bring them back into what we had come from.
Got you.
Because slavery was very specific, it was very precise on what they were doing,
Mhm.
right? When they
Right.
took us from our land, they said mix them up, separate them from their language, separate them from their culture and their spirituality. The purpose was to
Right.
keep a people locked down, or to keep a people under control,
Mhm.
right? And if we watch it, if we look at the cultures of people that control their dynamics in this world,
Mhm.
the Hebrew people, the Jewish people,
Right.
Indians, even Chinese, they hold on to their culture, they
Mm.
hold on to their spirituality,
Mm.
and they move forward in life. And when you check us as a people, Black people in general, you see that that's where that plan that they executed on us has taken the biggest effect. Because to this day, we don't have any unity or anything that draws us back to what we're supposed to be connected
Right.
to, that will unify us.
Right. Guys, hit the like button. Also, too, when it comes to initiations, I feel as if Bob allows they got it. They have to live and eat and have a good quality of life too. So, when it comes to initiations, they charge for it with anything within reason. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it at all. Because again, if you're offering a service, a value, then you should rightfully be paid for it. So as long as it makes sense. So that's all. But guys, links in the chat room. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to call in and ask a question. So what does African spirituality look like in I mean not just modern New York, just in modernity, all to in general, whether there's LA or Atlanta, these urban center concrete jungles. What is it? What does it look like?
Well, for me, I'm gonna say what it looks like for me. It looks like my normal life every day. What it looks like is that I'm in a neighborhood that's being highly gentrified, and outside is my big Eshu shrine and my Ogun shrine.
Hmm.
That the neighbors and people visiting the area are constantly passing by and taking pictures and wondering. But um me and my wife bought this home when we were 21, and so that's about 29 years ago
Oh
nowadays.
man, so I
And
can so I sorry to cut you off, but so I could punch air. How much did you buy it for 29 years ago?
about 250,000.
Oh Lord, how much is it worth now?
Well, we're not going to talk about all of that right now.
Well, go ahead.
But from the very beginning, with us, almost immediately we started doing our, living our spirituality, and in that time, it was, African spirituality was almost, it was taboo,
Right.
and
Still is
uh,
kind of.
yeah, it still is kind of right,
Right.
and so everything was hidden. But the very day that I was spiritually led to open up my Eshu shrine in the front, immediately people of our culture started to connect and
Mhm.
started to see. So for me, it's always been about living it freely, living it openly, and living it clearly for anyone and everyone to see. um we do some, regular offerings here, we do regular things here, but my philosophy overall is this: while we as people of the diaspora, African lineage, people feel a fear to
Mhm.
live within our truth. I look
Right.
around and I see the Jewish community not
Doing it.
having that fear.
Right.
I am seeing, on when their holidays come out, they have become so emboldened. I mean, I know Georgia may not see it like this, but here in New York,
I already
in
know.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
on Eastern Parkway,
They shut it
there are
down.
hundreds of crates of chickens.
Right. They,
Yeah, and they're Sarah in the street.
right.
And my philosophy has always been, the law is not good for them alone. If they have the right, then I have the right as well.
Right.
And my thing has always been to live African spirituality proudly and openly.
Mm.
I will not go into the heights and the depths of the offerings that we do here, but it can get pretty intense, and I don't feel anything about it, because this is who I am and this is where
Right.
I come from,
Mm.
and where I come from and my ancestry comes from. So in New York though, you're seeing it more and more. I myself, I have a good brother, Baba Sekou Alaje. We bring Egungun into the streets.
Hmm.
We represent as much as we can, with all of our heart, in the fullest form, so that we can, those people who their spirit is searching, that they can try to gravitate to what they're looking for, or that they may not even know.
Mm. Mm. What are some so when it comes to applying, African spirituality here in the West, what are some basic, I don't want to say, but basic things or practices someone can do just to start off?
Basic practice is, for me, number one is, genuine prayer,
Hmm.
um and ancestral reverence, right?
Hmm. Right.
um I believe that we should very become comfortable with remembering those who came before us.
Hmm.
I believe that through ancestral reverence can illuminate and put air to the spark within us to
Hmm.
create that fire of our heritage to really uh help us to be directed down the path that we need to go down, right?
Hmm.
From that point, uh I think things open up. And then the next thing that I feel is the most important thing for people to start to understand is their own connection to the divine, giving
Mm.
praise to their Ori, their head,
Yeah. Hmm.
and their spirit for that guidance.
Okay.
Spirituality doesn't necessarily mean any specific religion, it means being connected to the divine, right?
Mm. Right.
And through positive and powerful connection to the divine, our path will become clear.
Mm.
Is practicing African spirituality everything, something for everyone? It may not be, right?
Right.
But one thing I know would always be relevant is the fact to give praise to what we came from, which is
Hmm.
our ancestors.
Mm.
And while they want to demonize Black people for giving praise to their ancestors, they don't realize that all major spiritualities venerate their ancestors.
Mm.
Again, the Hebrew Jewish community. We those who like to read the Bible, and if they go in depth, they would see that what Jesus Christ came from, also he observed ancestral veneration. This is why when they describe who this person was, they go back and they say the son of this one, the son of that one, the son of this one, the son of that
Mm.
one, the lineage.
All right.
And when you check into the children of Israel, when they used to move from one place to another, they used to dig up the bones of their ancestors and carry it with them.
Mm.
It was that they would not forget their ancestry. When we as a people forget what we came from, we have no possible way to know where we're going.
Mm.
And that is key and paramount. So in the most simplest form of starting to practice African spirituality is about learning to venerate that which we came from. We could not be here if not for them.
All right.
So how could they be evil?
Mm. Baba Liko, go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, Mr. Eli. Um, this is my thing. I know you live in Brooklyn. I'm in Texas, but I live in New York for like almost 20 years until I decided to move. So I know I live right there on New York Avenue by the Parkway. So I know you're talking about the Jewish. They control basically everything basically on the Parkway. Even our people, they comes all the time and ask us to sell our homes and all that. So I know very much about them on the Parkway. I lived there for years.
Mhm.
My thing is this: as a spiritual brother, just like how they do, because I remember when I fall on hard times. I remember the Jewish people always had the nice homes and stuff on the Parkway, but I always used to see them in the in the welfare and in the Section 8. So my thing is this, right? Be spiritual. How can we use our spirituality to create wealth amongst our people? Because this is what's going on. Because I'm seeing them using their, so-called Jewish, because I believe in Revelation 2:9. I don't know if you know the Bible as well as me. I believe in Revelation 2:9. I don't believe they're the real Jews, but I believe they use something to get their wealth and they stick together, which we don't have. So how do we use spirituality for we to get into that wealth so we can help each other?
The first, the
That's my
first,
thing.
the
Mm.
first thing that has to happen. Thank you for that question. The first thing that has to happen, and what people overlook about their wealth is the most important thing. People overlook their unity. Unity is the key behind everything that they do. Yes, they control a lot and they get access to a lot, but they've been able to do that because of how cohesive they are as a people. They have brought it down. Look at something. Their communities are policed by their
Yes,
police.
peace.
They have their own schools. You can't really jail them because their police will come and take them out of the city jail and police them for themselves. They have their own social security offices. They have all of these things. They did that because of unity. And this is why I started off the conversation with saying one of the main things that we have to understand is that we have to reverse what was done to us purposely from slavery. They purposely disjointed us to be able to keep control of us, right? Now, the way that spirituality plays into this is this. We are all spiritual beings first and foremost, right? So
Mhm.
spirituality has to be the driving force of unity.
Mm.
And it has to be that points people back to the place what makes us all one. We can be African American, we can be African Caribbean, we can be African Cuban, we can be African whatever. But the main point of it is that we're African first. And that's where the unity has to come in from. We will never gain the strength as a people until we unify in as a people, right? And our culture and our spirituality has to be at the core of it. We have to be able to realize again that where our ancestors came from is where our strength lies. You talk about the Jewish people and what they do to be able to garner energy. The Jewish people have spiritual services that they call on their ancestors. And they do through those spiritual services, they call on their ancestors to get the guidance for what they need to do as a people. And they lock in on their spirituality. But why do they keep demonizing Black people's spirituality? Because they know so long as it looks bad to us and we're not willing to gravitate towards it, they can keep us exactly where they want us to be.
Mm.
So it's just people embracing what we came from and allowing that process. Remember that, especially in this country, slavery lasted for over 400 and some odd years.
Mm.
So what was done to the people is part of their genealogy at this point. It's a lot of undoing that has to be undone, but spirituality being at the core through prayer and so forth, it can be done. But the people have to be willing to gravitate back towards what we came from. I don't know if that answered your question, but
Yes. Just answer my question. I was worrying because we have a lot of problem with in our community, brother, as I know you probably seeing as with these FBAs and a lot of people saying they are original from America, which it could be true, would originate from America and they never came from Africa and all these things. But we having a divide now, and I don't know what is causing this divide, but I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Sorry for my word, but I think it's very um ridiculous. And I just want to know, where do you think all this is coming from in a time like now where we could clearly see that the Europeans and they're struggling right now and they need Africa really, really bad. They need the resources. So I could see that the empire is going down. All the empire is going down, but I could see Black people is not seeing that the empire is going down and they're not taking advantage and coming together and they're keeping this divide amongst us. I want to know, where is that coming from, brother?
all you have to do is understand what slavery really was. People think that slavery was about white people not liking Black people. That was not it. It was a financial thing or a business move. It was all about money. They needed a commodity to build what they wanted to build, right? And they went and they found the strongest commodity and used it to their purpose, right? So when you understand that, right, and then you know that if you put up borders around Africa, the rest of the world would suffer because Africa has everything that it needs to be self-sustained, and the
Yes.
rest of the world would suffer without what's coming from there. Okay? Then you would understand where these things are coming from. It's propaganda being pushed because they do not want black people going back to or connecting back to there to reclaim what was theirs. When Marcus Garvey was talking about taking African people back to Africa, they jailed him. And the reason why they did that was because they know that this country could not survive without the black influence or the black support system. So every time that we can get closer and closer, you have more and more people like my brother here, I Show Speed, that is showing the beauty of Africa. And the more that that's done, it's the more that our people is going to start to get captivated back to where we came from. So they got to push other propaganda to throw people off and create more and more divide. It's more of the same. And we as a people have to come to see what it truly is, because it's exactly their plan to keep us in a certain way so that they can keep control of what it is that they want to have control over. They want to have control over our revenue. Black people in this country account for how much and how much of trillions of dollars of revenue every year.
That's facts.
Okay? They want to keep control of that. They want to keep control of the resources in Africa that causes the world to move forward. Separation and divide is what keeps people from unifying. Unity is what makes people get ahead. When Martin Luther King did the Alabama boycott, they thought it wasn't going to work. But after a long enough time of the people being cohesive and sticking together, they saw the effects and they had to do something about it. You understand? So this is
Yes,
what
very good.
gave positive traction to it. The next time Martin Luther King decided to start to raise his voice to unify people against the money structure of this company, that's when he was killed. Because they knew his voice was powerful enough to move the people in one direction. So it's more of the propaganda that is being pushed to separate us as a people. Even if the people in the
No, we lost the brother. Hopefully he'll come back on.
Oh my God, what happened?
Yeah, we lost. Hopefully he'll come back on. Hopefully, guys, hit the like button again. Please hit that like button. Also make sure you share and you subscribe. Hopefully just some technical difficulty.
Donis, where you locate this brother from? This is the first time I'm hearing him. He's very, very knowledgeable.
No,
of,
they had reached out to me. He reached out to me about a month ago. And so today I was like, let's do a show today. I know it's last minute, but if you're free, let's hop on. So yeah. I gotta keep the the platform more balanced. Chief, you what up? Chief, we lost you. We can't see you either. Chief, maybe come off and come back on. I would say come off and then come back on if you can hear us. Okay. Let me okay, I think he's coming back. There we go. Okay.
Hello?
All right, you're
Can you hear
back.
me?
Oh yeah, you're back. You're back. We see you now. You're good. You're back now.
I'm not hearing you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me? You can't hear
Not
us?
here.
Okay. Come out and come back on.
Okay.
Yeah. So completely just I'll remove you and then click on a link and come back on.
I don't even know how to get off this thing.
Hold on. I will remove you. I will remove you. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just let me tell him to click back the link and come back on. Let me text him. Oh, here he goes.
Totally not tech savvy. Sorry about that.
Okay. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. We're good. We're good. We're cooking with gas. Go ahead.
All right. It just threw me for a loop. I can't even remember where I was at that point. What were we? What was I saying?
You got into slavery. It wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
about white people not liking us. It was more about the
Yeah, I mean, all right.
economic.
Even if they want to believe that they were here, they have to understand that their origin is Africa. Um, the Moors did travel around and went to many different places in the world, but their origin is Africa. And at that point, then let us get back down to the fact of who and what we actually are, so that we could unify and overcome. Because when you isolate yourself as an isolated group, African American, okay, how is that benefiting in totality? We're still trying to say, well, who's the best Republican or who's the best Democrat, when the truth is the best thing to happen is for us to be unified and control the dynamic. Because if we say as a
I
people
agree.
we don't like this, and we say, well, we're not going to support this, then we have the ability to make any one of the parties go the way that we need them to go. So what is the sense of the separation?
I agree, because I always say we got like 40 or almost 50 million blacks in America, and I think we can have we own party and do our own. We don't need to vote for no Democrats nor Republican. I think we need to vote for somebody who cares for us and put our 50 million votes towards somebody for us. I always says that. I don't, because Democrats and Republicans, they're gonna do what they gotta do anyway. So that's my thing on that. And one thing I gotta go, because I see Africana is on here, Africa. What do you think about democracy in Africa? That's my last question, and that's it.
I think
Okay. Was you asking me that, Lico?
No, that question's for Chief.
Okay, sorry.
democracy in Africa needs some new and younger faces. I think that some of the leadership in Africa are, dated back. It's the same thing as the situation in this country. Um, they're outdated mannerisms, thoughts, ways of beings that need to be refreshed. It needs a younger body of people that see things more clearly for this time, to help to move things forward in totality. Um, you know, it's very important to understand that what is ingrained in people, there's an old saying that you can't teach old dogs new tricks, right? What's ingrained in people, then you see that they continue on those paths, right? And a lot of the countries in Africa have some of this issue where most of their leaders are very old. They're not trying to do too much things different. They're
Right.
not trying to ruffle too many feathers. They're trying to make sure that their life is secured,
And their
their
family.
family is secured, and that's what they're dealing with. The younger generation now have more of a willingness to do things for the people, to help the people to move ahead. So that's where we need to go. I'm not for this particular administration in this country, but one thing that I heard them talk about is giving a term limit to congressmen and people on the Supreme Court. And I feel like that needs to happen. Because how are we ruling any place in 2026 with people who believe in laws and ways of being from 1960?
Mm.
How is that working out?
Can I
So
ask the
that
host a question?
Well, hold on. Let
Not
me
the
pass.
host.
Hold on. It's Africa's turn, and I'll pass it to you. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings to Dennis and Olu Ela, and it's good. It's good what you're doing. It's nice to have the different varieties. I'm a very religious, tolerant person, and also I'm quite spiritual in a lot of ways, and I think that's needed. We it's about time we find out what's best for us. As people, what works for us, because that we have different type of religion and spiritualities in the continent over the years. We're not sure which one is actually, best moving us forward. But um, the question I want to ask is do you think too much religion is our problem that we're facing as people of color instead of following practicality, like practical stuff, instead of being too religious?
Religion is a built up infrastructure um that's supposed to be built on spirituality. And the thing about it is that when there's religion, then there's people who are in control. When there are people in control in that way, then how they move people can be different. And a compromise person can move a whole multitude of people in a compromised direction. So too much religion, when we talk about religion as a structure, is an issue. True spirituality, when we check the base of even these religions and you get down to the spirituality of it, they all run off of the same um guidance and directions, right? It's all about what we put out into the world is what we get back. Karma is the same thing. If I will speak about character, character is not something that happens in a bubble, right? So when we talk about character, we talk about being good people, but being good people to who? Being good people to other people, being the person that we were destined to be to other to help the world to move forward, for other people to benefit. If we have a gift that we were given, the gift wasn't given to us for us to enjoy it. The gift was given to us for others to benefit from it. So when we talk about religion and the dynamics of how things are controlled, I come from a Christian background, and I don't have anything against Christianity in its core form. But when you look at how it's taught and how it's brought about and how people take it up from a religious standpoint, then it's problematic. No one would look at Jesus and the words that he would say, judge not lest ye be judged. And they would judge everyone on a very high level, right? No one would pay attention to that he went around helping everyone in need and not concerning himself with only himself and his people, right? Those are the core the core tenets of a spirituality that is meant to benefit the world. Ifa teaches us that one of our core purposes is to make the world a better place than how we met it. We have to stand in good character to be able that it becomes.
Brother, I think if you can hear me, your line is
We lost them. Hopefully they'll come back here in a second, guys.
yeah, yeah.
After Africa, it'll be M's turn, and then we'll close out.
Oh, okay, we could have still carried on if you wanted, but
Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, yeah, basically, it's to me. I think we need obviously we should look at what works for us as people, and
Okay, he's back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay,
Chief.
okay, no problem.
Chief, can you hear us? Yeah, I don't think Chief can hear us.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Oh, he can't hear us.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't think he hear us. Yeah, we lost him. He'll come back on here in
uh,
a second, guys. We'll go ahead,
yeah,
Africa.
yeah. I mean, we should look at what works for us because we have seen, religion that we all this. Let me say Christianity, Islam.
Chief, can you hear us?
In fact,
Yes, I can.
Okay, go
oh,
ahead.
we can.
Go ahead.
So yeah, religion in that sense is an issue. When we do not want to study and understand the core tenets of it, which is based in spirituality, which is based on brotherly love, which is based on good character, which is based on, karma. What we put out into the world is what we will receive back. And we should be concerned about everyone and everything around us as much as we're concerned about ourselves. So yeah, because religion does not teach it in that way. They give us all manners of things on the outside of us that is the issue. The devil made us do it. This all kinds of things instead of taking into consideration self and what we're supposed to be doing in order to make life better for us and for the world in general. So, I mean, a simple answer to that is yes, I do believe that that is an issue. People have to get into themselves more and get a true and a true sense of divine connection to spirituality.
All right, go ahead,
Yeah,
M.
I mean, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Africa. Then I got to pass it to him. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only thing, my point was, if you look at, for example, in the UK, the religion that they practiced today was brought here. It wasn't native to them. Well, they managed to adapt to that religion and make it work for them. And you can see how they managed to achieve, a lot from learning from the Bible or the type of religion that was introduced to them, and also they've managed to produce science and progress their nation from that. And I do agree with you about the cohesion and this togetherness. You can actually bring a good group of people together, and I think that's what is missing in our groups as people. You know, we need some form of religion or something that will bring us together and actually have this one togetherness, so we can work on something and we have the best minds. That's one of the issue I was trying to raise. But thank you very much. I'll pass it back. Thank you, Dan.
All right, go ahead, M. Unmute yourself, M.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, host. Guest. I have two things I want to address. Two type of questions, if that's cool. If that's good. The first thing I want to talk about is what I heard when you said about the trillions of dollars that Black people in America have, and then the natural resources in Africa is being controlled by Europeans. I read an article earlier. Well, I kind of skimmed over the article. It was about Burkina Faso telling an Australian mining company they want 40% of the revenue because this company said they're going to have about 500,000 ounces of gold like in 1 year. That's nearly over probably $100 million worth of gold right there. But they only want 40%. I'm trying to figure out what exactly percentage was they getting before that. And for two, the question I want to have is what natural resources are Africa willing to give to the Black Americans? Like what share of Africa as far as equity are we ever going to get? That's the first question I want to have. The second question is about what you said about Black Americans separating themselves, and you talk about our origin is Africa. I've been studying the Dogon, and they teach that their ancestors came by way of ships and planes. They call them the Nomos. And they say that they also went all over the world and spread knowledge. Like the idea that we somehow come from a continent called Africa that was named by the Romans, basically called the Africa. Like we really don't really, and then our genetic makeup says that our genetics is actually older than Africa. What I'm saying is, do you think that the Dogon ancestors are us, for one? And for two, why do Africa always want to put us in a subservient, like a little brother type son position? Like, have you ever crossed your mind that maybe we're the elders? Because if you look at it, Africans come to Black Americans for salvation. Like they do really well when they come around us. And when we go to Africa, we really go as like a parent to help. We never really go looking for something. So how is that like a superior position that Africa has if we're the ones are usually providing to Africa, and there's really no evidence that Africa, the continent itself, it of course it existed, but the history of it is obscure because all we know is the Romans conquered Carthage and named it Africa. Like Africans don't really have any history to tell us anything before that. But do you think we're the ancestors of the Dogon? And do you think Africans will ever share their natural resources with us as a people?
Okay. Well, you got a lot of stuff going on in that. So one, the idea of the name of the continent being Africa and that's one thing, because we understand that the name came about at a certain period of time, right? But when we talk about even science saying where the origin of life started, it's in that landmass. Okay.
So there was no trees there was no trees and grass on other planets, on other continents had no trees, no birds.
No, that's not the tracing back. From a scientific perspective, that's not the tracing back.
Do you mean human life? Because there was bugs and like fish flying around outside of Africa. You say it was the origin of all life?
No. We're talking about human life, sir. That's what we're talking about, right? I mean, we know that bugs and animals were all over. We know that.
Did you know the camel is native to America? Did you know that?
Okay, and what does this have to do about the unity of our people, of Black people?
How can it be unity when it's always a position of looking down at us?
Okay,
there's never really an idea that could cross your mind that maybe these people are ancient people, because to look at the things that we actually are accomplishing, how can you not look at the possibility that we the origin of Africa?
Okay, so listen, what you're saying is all wrapping up into the same thing. I'm not saying that those who are here or any place else is not part of the origin of Africa. Remember, we're dealing with ancestry and we're dealing with lineage, right? So we're not saying anything like that. And to your point, Africa has been put in a place because when slaves were removed from there, the place was divvied up and it was placed in a way that it would not advance too much
But
because
look,
they wanted to keep the control of the resources.
listen,
So
slaves was taken from Africa,
Hold on.
but
M.
go
You
ahead,
gotta
go
let
ahead,
him.
go ahead.
M. You gotta let him finish his. He's the guest. You gotta let him finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chief.
so the world progressed, yes, and a lot of help can come from the outside back to Africa. That is without question. But no one should be trying to say that there's any submissive or subservient place that Black people are standing, or any the African Americans or anything of that nature. The point is that we're all brothers, we're all sisters, we're all stemming from the same root. And all of these little topics and so forth are the things that tend to bring more and more separation. And how is it helping us overall as a people? Because the last time I checked, whether you be African American, whether you be Caribbean American or Caribbean, African Caribbean, whoever you are, when you get into certain environments, you get treated the same. And it's not really in the best fashion. So this is not about where the separation is coming about. It's about how we can cohesively come together to overcome what it is that we're facing as a people. And when I make reference to what African Americans and Black people in this country contribute to this country, I'm saying the revenue that we put into the country. When I talk about the resources on that landmass, I'm talking about what is being taken out of that landmass and funding so many other places. I'm saying that we have the ability. It's the unity. Let's just take the United States for one. If the United States unifies, then the things that we face from government, I mean the Black people, if the Black people in the United States unify, the things that we face in government, we would not face it, because we would be able to say we don't agree with this, so therefore we're not supporting this. And when they see, because this is all a dollars and cents dynamic, it's about money. When they see that our money is not moving in a certain direction, then they'll say, well, listen, I'm not dealing with that. This is not an encouragement to say that people need to go back to Africa in totality. What I'm saying is this: we have a common root, a common strand. And if you look at the people that move and control the dynamics of their culture and their people, they stand on one unified base that causes them to move forward. All of the different things that cause us to be separated is a problem. It's not beneficial to us overall. This is not a superiority complex. This is not to say anyone is better than anyone. This is to say, how do we move forward as a people? That's what it's about.
Can I say something else before we pass the mic?
Go ahead.
Okay. I was gonna say earlier when you said slaves was taken from Africa, and then you said the natural resources was exploited after that. Now, I was gonna say, of course, people was taken from Africa, but everybody wasn't taken from Africa. So the people that was left behind, if you look use reasoning and logic, like what Jesus talked about, a house can't fall if there's a strong man there. So when they took us away, that made Africa susceptible to exploitation and colonialism. So what do you think the people that they took away was doing before they was taken away? Do you think they was a protector? Like you say, they people always talk about, okay, black people in America, we should come home, the motherland. But what was taken from us? What was our land in Africa before they took us? Like, what is the real scope of what is our inheritance there? Okay, we got an inheritance in America because we did a lot of work as slaves. We built the infrastructure. We did a lot of the inventions and the policies. We have a lot. We have a lot of blood and sweat equity in America. But before that, according to what they're teaching as far as Pan Africanism, if we was taken from Africa and they was able to be just stepped on easily, that meant the people that was taken must have been a strong people. They must have had something. But nobody's talking about. Like I was listening yesterday, and I think Africa was saying, as far as like the land mass, you have to have a right, like a spiritual right to be on that land. But what if the person didn't have the right to be on that land? They just have it. Like, how would you know who was there before they just like Liberia? We know that a lot of like I was listening to the CD talk. I wasn't on the. I just listened to the video. He was saying that the whole Black American government was just killed in a coup, just wiped out. You see what I'm saying? But I was just saying, like, everybody wasn't taken from Africa, and the people that was left behind, they was more susceptible, or maybe they was collaborating to take out Africans. Like, whoever was behind in power, they didn't really put up enough of a struggle to prevent the Europeans from, like, right now. Like, they still got. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Now pass the CD.
I can address that for you later, but let it go around first. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. How is the panel?
Well, hold on. Okay, Chief,
Yeah.
you want to answer, or you just pass it to CD, the next
Okay.
caller?
I think that's not really for Chief, Dennis.
Hold on, Africa. Hold on. And then Chief, I know you've had a very, very long day and night. So I was gonna say, CD, if you want to respond to that, you can. Then pass it to CD, and then we could close out, because we could always do a part two. It's completely up to you.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi.
Go ahead, CD.
How's the panel, man? How's everybody? How's the guests?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for coming on the show, the guests. We really appreciate what you're doing. Spirituality is very important, especially to the African. If you were to hold on to our spirituality, I don't think Africa would be in this position today. But because of religion, it affected us a lot, whether it's Christianity or Islamic religion, right? It brought a lot of divisions. My question is, before I come to my question is, you have to, make a lot of people to know what you are working on right now, and I know people will appreciate this a lot, because I live in New York, I live in Manhattan, and there's a Nigerian restaurant in Times Square they call African Native, and then they open another location on 125th Street, right above Magic Johnson Theater. So if you can send out the leaflets so a lot of people can be aware of it, that would be really good. And I think a lot of Nigerians, African specifically, most of the people may not know what you're doing right now, which is really good, especially when you give the example to what the Jewish people do when it comes down to their spirituality, and that helped them a lot. So my question is, in Africa, we have a lot of spirituality, right? Is this specific one that you talking about, is it identified to a specific tribe, or is it this is just Nigeria in general? Because my reason of asking that is I see Senegalese practicing their spirituality, and which of course I like it a lot, and they for what they practice is that being suppressed in a lot of West African country, right? And the spirituality the Senegalese practice, if all African were to open to that, I think that would help most of the African nations, right? But in other country, it been suppressed somehow because they think it's against the religion, Islamic religion, certain thing that the Senegalese do. People tend to suppress it somehow because they don't like what they do. And that helped them to bring them together, right? It brings unity into their community. And you can see how they're developing. Even when Madani came to power, the first restaurant he visited was Senegalese restaurant, St. Louis, right across from me in in Harlem. So, in order for people to understand the type of spirituality that you're talking about, is it specific to a certain tribe? Because I don't know how the Nigerian, celebrating. I've gone to a lot of Nigerian weddings. I've gone to a lot of Nigerian activity, same as Ghanaians. But I want you to be specific. Is it the spiritualities that you're talking about? Is it somehow identified to a specific group of people in Nigeria, whether from the east or from the north or from the south? So I just want you to be a little bit specific. But thank you.
Me, specifically, I'm associated with the Yoruba tribe, spirituality, the Ifa, religion, or spirituality, and so I'm speaking from that point of view. But when we talk about African spirituality, there are many um different ones, the voodoo, many different
Right.
types. And again, I feel at the core of this conversation is about how do we progress as a people, right?
Right.
So when we talking about African spirituality, wherever that lands for you, the point of the matter is that the central connecting point is where we came from, which is Africa, right? So however we choose to venerate God, or what we would say Olodumare, however we choose to venerate the divine is important, but true spirituality always it has the core root of a people being good to their people and being good to people, right? So at the core, it holds us together and holds us accountable in that way, so that we become unified in under those principles and those precepts to help us to move forward as a people. African spirituality at the core, that's what it is. It doesn't have any blame, it doesn't have any this is I'm better, that you're better. Human beings bring that into place, but it's about unifying under the principles that make us cohesive as a people, right? And I believe that that's the core. So you may let's just say, for instance, you're Afro Haitian or whatever. You will align heavily with the voodoo, right? It's an African spirituality.
Yep.
I'm Yoruba, um, and that's an African spirituality. I enjoy voodoo ceremonies and so forth. It's not the way that I worship, but there's no condemnation to me with that. Here's another core thing in all African traditionalism or spirituality is ancestral veneration, venerating our ancestors. That's at the core of any African spirituality, right? It teaches us how to go back and give praise to those who made the sacrifices for us to be here today. So these are the core things that again that brings people together, right? And that's what it's all about. So for specifically, I align with the Yoruba tribe and the Yoruba way of worship in Ifa and Orisha worship. But all lines of African spirituality brings us back to the central point of what can unify us, where we came from. Basically, that's how I see it.
Okay. Well, yeah, because that's what I want you to be a little bit specific because uh in order for you, because this is a very good thing, especially my whole team, my focus is how can this bring Africans together, you know? When you talk about voodoos, yeah, a lot of Africans seem to practice voodoo, but at the same time, in the present days, a lot of people have issues with practicing voodoo. That's what I said. Senegalese, they have different way of practicing Islamic religion, mixed with sort of with their culture, which of course some other West African countries being suppressed somehow because they have issues with that. So this so you have to let a lot of people to know, go especially in New York, in Manhattan, in Harlem, where there are a lot of West Africans. Because the reason I'm in New York is because I like practicing African culture in New York. You can go to Nigerian, activity. You can go to Ghanaians. You can go to Nigerian one, Liberians. The all Africans, every type of African you'll find in New York City. That's what I'm stuck in New York. But yeah, this is a good thing. And as I said, they have a very famous Nigerian restaurant in Times Square. They have one on 125th. They have just opened one location on 125th Street, right above Margie Johnson Theater. You can drop the leaflet there so a lot of people can be aware of it. So in that way you can attract more people. But thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right, Chief. So we go ahead and close out. Anything else you like to share in closing? And also, how can people reach you?
Well, we're on Instagram, Ile Osa Karan Temple. There we post all of our events, and everything that we have coming up in the community, as far as community outreach, as far as our festivals, everything that we have coming out, we post it there. So that's the easiest way to get in contact with us. So it was a real pleasure being a part of your program today.
Absolutely, and don't be a stranger. Anytime you want to come on, just let me know. We're here.
Surely I will. I'll keep that in mind, and so forth. It was truly a pleasure. Um, Happy to help you do what you're doing, because I love the exposure that you're actually giving to the culture and to the land and so forth. Unfortunately, too many eyes are closed to the beauty of Africa in totality. So I really appreciate that what you're doing as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.